This is News with the Disney Dude. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel for more content, and please hit that thumbs up if you like the video. Here now's the news for Wednesday, July 1st of 2026. Actually, before I start with the news, I want to talk about a certain attraction that's closing in just a few days' time. I want to talk about Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. I went today to experience this attraction for this iteration of the attraction for one last time until it reopens in 2020, sometime in 2027. We'll keep our fingers crossed with that one. But I just want to take a couple minutes and talk about this because I see a lot of people are up in arms. They're up, they're very upset about this change and everything. Here's what I will say. Okay. Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress deserves to be updated. All right, it deserves to be updated. Now, does that mean we have to get rid of the original 3 acts of the original show? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of torn on this one. I'm very, very hopeful for the future that they're going to do this correctly. On the other hand, I'm sad because we're losing the first 3 original acts of the Carousel of Progress. We are getting completely new scene. I mean, all 4 acts are changing, but I've seen a lot of nasty comments from people and how Josh D'Amaro is ruining the company and blah 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 blah. Look, I don't think he's ruining the company. I really don't think that's what's happening here. Now, look, when this attraction reopens, and once I see it for myself and everything, if it does generate a negative response, then we have a right to go after them. All right, but this is what I will say. Okay, this is what I will say. I'm sure this is going to be taken out of context. Okay, but here's what I will say. I have more faith in this regime than I have in the previous regime. Okay, in the last couple regimes. Okay, I was very, very when Bob Iger stepped down the first time and he got replaced by Bob Chapek, we saw a significant decline in attraction quality, in park quality, just the overall guest experience. We saw a decline. We saw a major decline. All right, and when Bob Iger came back, we were all very excited. And then there was certain decisions that a lot of us wouldn't have made. I'm thinking of the closure of Muppet Vision 3D, the closure of the Rivers of America, things of that nature that are just head scratchers. Like, I don't know why they would do that. But I think that we have now seen I think that we've seen a shift now with Josh D'Amaro. And look, Josh D'Amaro is not he's not innocent in this. he was at the parks when they closed Muppet Vision, when they closed the Rivers of America, so, those are going to be, mistakes that are added to his name, okay? But with this Carousel of Progress thing, I don't think this is a mistake. I really don't think it's a mistake, okay? We need to let the Imagineers work and cook and let them figure this out. And look, they know that this attraction is not to be dinked around with, okay? I could use another word, but I'm going to keep this, G-rated. But they know not to mess around with this attraction. They can't mess with this attraction because this attraction, it means so much to, not only Walt Disney World, but to the company as a whole. Okay, this was one of the attractions that Walt Disney personally worked on. All right, it is personally touched by Walt Disney. All right, he created this for the 1964 World's Fair. So he developed this project from beginning to end. All right, and it was the same thing with It's a Small World. Okay, It's a Small World started its life also at the New York World's Fair. Okay, brought it to Disneyland. So that, so It's a Small World and Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress means something. All right, they absolutely mean something to the Walt Disney Company. So they know that they cannot that there is no room for error. There is no room for error on Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. There just isn't. Okay, if they screw it up, it's gonna be a okay. There, a lot of us fans are gonna hate the Walt Disney Company if they screw up Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. And they know that. They know that they have really big shoes to fill. These are much bigger shoes to fill than like doing something like the Country Bears, okay? Which the Country Bears had to be updated. It had to be updated because that show was not speaking to the guests of today, okay? So they knew that they had to update the show, okay? So they knew that they could put Disney songs in, and there's homages to the original show and everything, and I really hope that that's what's happening here. I really hope that's what's happening here, is that they put homages to the original Carousel of Progress while being its own thing. All right, and that's very hard. That's a very hard thing to do. It's like trying to capture lightning in a bottle. Okay, I remember when they were first going to update the Country Bear Jamboree, we were all like, oh no, what is going to happen? What are they going to do to our bears? Okay, we were all very, very scared and skeptical, and now that that is opened, that is the highest testing attraction at the Magic Kingdom. So you cannot deny that they plus that attraction, they plus that attraction, and they captured lightning in a bottle. My fear is, are they going to be able to do that again? Are they going to be able to do that again with Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress? And I hope that's the case. I really, really hope that's the case, because they know that this is a really big project. This is a tremendous project to take on, all right? This is, taking on the Country Bears was a big project, but it was nothing. Nothing compared to nothing compared to taking on Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. Okay, they're two totally different beasts. All right, so so for a lot of those naysayers who, that are already, condemning this attraction, just, I say wait until they come up with this finished product, because they might surprise us. They may surprise us, and there may be homages to the original Carousel of Progress while also being its own thing. All right, and I really hope that that's what's going to happen here. But they can't screw around with Carousel of Progress. They can't, okay? Because they know they have really big shoes to fill. Really big shoes to fill. So I say let the Imagineers work. Let them do their thing. Because I have more confidence in this regime than I have had the couple of regimes. All right, I have confidence that this regime is going to deliver a product that is as good, if I don't want to say better than the original Carousel of Progress, because it's really hard to improve that, but it has to be as good as the as this version of Carousel of Progress. And I have faith in this regime that they're going to deliver that. I have faith in Josh D'Amaro. I have faith in the management at Walt Disney World, because this is a really big project. This is a huge product. This is a huge project to tackle. So, listen, and again, listen, if they screw this up, you're going to hear it from me and every other blogger and vlogger that goes to these parks, okay? But I say, for the time being, let them work. Let them work. Let them do this, because, again, I have faith in this regime. I have much more faith in this regime, and I think that they're going to do this. I think they're going to do this right. They're absolutely going to do this right. So let's just wait and see what happens. And look, when the new version of Carousel of Progress opens, and it's bad, you're going to hear it from me, as well as every other blogger and vlogger out there. Okay, but I say let the Imagineers work. I say let the Imagineers work, and let them deliver a project that is hopefully as good as this version of the Carousel of Progress. All right. I don't see it being, I hate to be that guy already. I don't think it's going to be better, because the bar is high. The bar is set very, very high for that attraction. Very, very high. It is so much higher than the Country Bears or Splash Mountain or any of these other projects. It's probably the highest up. It's probably the highest up there. So they know they can't screw around with this attraction. They can't. All right. So I have faith that they're going to deliver a product that's as good as this version of Carousel of Progress. All right. If you guys want to fight me on this, that's fine. But I have been seeing so many negative comments from people that say that, Disney doesn't know what they're doing anymore, and they're going to ruin the Carousel of Progress and blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I don't know if they are or not. Okay? So there has to be homages to the Carousel in this new version of Carousel of Progress. Okay? You have to have, number one, you have to have the song. Okay? There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. You have to have that song. If they don't have that song, that's going to be strike number one. All right? Strike number two is if they don't have the charm of the original version. Okay, and look, I know that there's some things in Carousel of Progress that the humor's outdated. Okay, because most of the humor, some of the humor is more adult type of humor that a lot of people nowadays, they don't understand. So again, that kind of worries me a little bit, but but I hope the new script for the Carousel of Progress is good. But again, I say let them work. Let them work. Let them figure this out. All right? Let them figure this out because there is no room for error. There is no room for error. All right? But again, let me know how you feel. I'm sure some people are going to come in the comments and be like, you don't know what you're talking about. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, but, I've been writing Carousel of Progress for, decades now. All right, so, but I say let them work, let them figure this out, and if it's not, and if it doesn't stand up to the original, then we can go after them and say, what did you do? What did you do? How dare you? All right, so let them work, let them figure this out. All right. So that's my rant here on this new version of Carousel of Progress, all right? Steel construction permit has been filed for Encanto ride at Disney's Animal Kingdom. If you follow my blogging channel, you know that I went to Disney's Animal Kingdom the other day to check up on the progress. Now, obviously, we can't see the progress of the Encanto ride because it's, a little bit further back, but they've, now, if you stand back a little bit farther, you can see kind of the tall building, which is going to be the what we call the ride facade, which is going to be the casita. So, but now they're probably, because now they have to, because now the building's been, I think the building is probably, the bones of the building are probably almost done. So now they have to start with the other construction. They have to get the whole building covered first so they can focus on inside the ride so we can't, obviously see inside what's happening. So, but we'll keep our eyes open for this one. All right. American Heritage Gallery has been, I don't know if it's reopened yet or not, but it was temporarily closed and without electricity at Epcot. So last night, Walt Disney World had a as such with with it being in Central Florida, it's subject to a lot of rain and thunderstorms. So there was a really bad lightning storm last night at Walt Disney World, and a lot of the attractions went down. This included the American Heritage Gallery, which the American Adventure, the actual animatronic show, I don't think went down, but the display outside of the show. So when you enter the pavilion, to your right is where they have the gallery. So so that part got that part lost power. So it may or may not be back up yet. I think it's probably back up at this point. But yeah, it's scary. It is scary because Walt Disney World can lose power. So it is scary, but it can happen. La Boutinerie quick service kiosk is now open at Epcot. So I'm gonna have to after my block out. I try not to go so much in the summertime because it's just so hot. It's just so hot here. But once in a while I'll go to the parks. But I'll have to swing by Epcot and give this a try, because I'd like to know, I've never had something like this, so it'd be interesting for me. Air Force flyover at Walt Disney World has been announced for America's 250th Independence Day. So on every July 4th, weather permitting, Air Force One flies over the Magic Kingdom in honor of Independence Day. So if you are going, and they only do it once a day. I think it's in the morning, maybe, I don't know. So hopefully you'll be able to see that. They are predicting we're going to be getting a lot of rain and storms this holiday weekend, so it may not happen, but we'll knock on wood and keep our fingers crossed that it's going to happen. So, but this would be a beautiful sight to see. Temporary Ghirardelli location is now open at Disney Springs. So they have so again, Ghirardelli has closed their one location at Disney Springs. They've for refurbishment, and now they've opened up a temporary space. This is where the Sprinkles location was. So this is where the new Ghirardelli location is until they get the permanent location, until they finished renovating it. Piston Peak Imagineering permit has been filed for former Aunt Polly's site at the Magic Kingdom. So, one by one they're going to be, and we're going to be seeing a lot more of these construction permits down the road. But they're filing permits for buildings that were on the site of Tom Sawyer Island, getting that ready for it to be transformed into Piston Peak National Park. So we're going to be seeing a lot more of these construction permits as construction obviously progresses. So probably going to be a lot more updates. Intersection outside Magic Kingdom and Polynesian Village Resort is now closed permanently as of today. So, as of July 1st. Today's July 1st. I have no idea. I have no idea what day it is. So that road back there, back behind the Polynesian and such, that can get very congested back there. So they only want that road open for cast members and buses and such. So now you can't. Now nobody else can regular folks, regular people that don't work there now can't use that road, which kind of makes me wonder, how are you going to access the apartments back there, and how are you going to access that Publix back there. I'm sure there's another road that they're working on, or maybe they're worked on. I don't know. But gonna have to keep watch on this, because this is, this another one. This one's another one. This is another one of those stories we're gonna have to follow, because I don't know what's gonna happen back there. I really don't. All right, this is a little bit of a late breaking story. Epcot is closing early today. By the time you're watching this, it's already closed. It closed at 5:30 this afternoon. For what? For a corporate buyout. So for a private event. All right. So hopefully you got to enjoy your Epcot day. My original plan was going to go to Magic Kingdom, then park hop over to Epcot for a little bit, and then eat dinner. And then I realized, oh shoot, today is when Epcot's closing early, so I can't do that. So hopefully you got to enjoy your Epcot day before you got kicked out at 5:30 this afternoon. Disney's Animal Kingdom welcomes new adult gorilla. So, and as such, when they have a new gorilla, they have to close the I don't think they close the trail, but they have to close the gorilla section, because the gorillas have to acclimate to a new gorilla. And from my understanding, that takes time. That takes months to do, for them to get acclimated to the new gorilla. So, no, we don't know when you'll be able to, see this new gorilla, but it will be a long time. It may be a long time, because gorillas are very smart creatures, and they need time to get acclimated to each other. I can honestly tell you as well, poop will be flown. All right, there's going to be some major territorial disputes. So there's going to be a wild time in that gorilla enclosure. But just keep that in mind, that's why that's closed. Again, no reopening date. It may take a while. We just don't know. So we'll keep our eyes open for you. The Tangled restrooms, my favorite restrooms, yes, have reopened at the Magic Kingdom. Yes, I have favorite bathrooms. Okay, I think that they're everyone's favorite bathrooms. I don't know what Disney, what their janitorial staff do, but those restrooms are always so clean, and of course they're very well themed. They're just really nice bathrooms. They're really nice bathrooms. I know I sound like a psychopath, but yes, I do have favorite bathrooms, okay, at the Magic Kingdom. All right, and the Tangled restrooms are my favorite bathrooms. So yes, I'm going to fight for that. All right, so the Tangled restrooms are now reopened. Speaking of that bad weather, over 24 attractions were closed yesterday during a bad lightning storm at Walt Disney World. So all across the resort, a lot of attractions were closed because of the lightning. That's not, of course, that's not including the outside rides, which have to close anyway, but we're talking, almost all of, a lot of rides are closed. A lot. Haunted Mansion, Small World, Living with the Land, Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, Muppets Rock and Roller Coaster. I know that The Little Mermaid, A Musical Adventure, was affected as well. You know, that's just to name a few. Just keep that in mind when you go to Walt Disney World, especially this time of year. This is our rainy season and our stormy season. So we're going to be getting a lot of rain and a lot of lightning. You know, we are the lightning capital of the world, by the way. So just keep that in mind. So hopefully nothing too horrible happened, but that's something to keep in mind when visiting these theme parks, especially, you know, July and August. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Just keep in mind that Walt Disney World, we don't really want to think about it, but they may lose power. They may lose power because Mother Nature is really unpredictable. Really unpredictable. Coral Reef Restaurant at Epcot is going to be closed for refurbishment later this year. It will start on September 8th. We don't have a reopening date listed for this. This is expected. The restaurant is expected to open later on this year, but starting September 8th, you will not be able to dine at Coral Reef Restaurant. Again, we don't know what's happening here, but we'll just have to keep. This is another one of those stories we're just going to have to keep our eyes open, but you know, we don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on with this restaurant. Building near the Haunted Mansion has now been enclosed at the Magic Kingdom. So if you remember, so the Haunted Mansion's extended queue used to. So the dock for the Liberty Square Riverboat actually served two purposes. That's why there were two floors. The top floor was for boarding the boat and unloading the boat, or I should say the bottom. They unloaded the boat as well, but there was a separate section of that part that was just for the Haunted Mansion. That was just for the Haunted Mansion's extended queue. Obviously, now that you know of all the construction there, closing Tom Sawyer Island and the Rivers of America and everything, Haunted Mansion has lost a lot of its extended queue. So that queue gets extremely backed up. You know, I was walking by today, and it stretched all the way, and it's not uncommon now for this attraction's standby queue to stretch out all the way to Frontierland. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, they you know, Haunted Mansion lost a lot of its extended queue space. So hopefully once the Piston Peak National Park area opens, hopefully we can get we'll get a new extended queue for the Haunted Mansion. Would already talking about putting that extended queue in air conditioning, which would, you know, I fully support. That's fantastic. But we're just gonna have to again, say it with me, kids. Just have to wait and see. We're just gonna have to watch this story more closely to see what happens. But yeah, hopefully with the extended queue of the Haunted Mansion, hopefully there'll be a more. There's plans for a more indoor spot and air conditioning. So hopefully that's hopefully that's the case. So we'll just have to keep our eyes open. And our last story is the shoulder banshees have now been restocked at Disney's Animal Kingdom. So they were out for quite a little bit. So, but now they are back in stock, and now you can go and buy your shoulder banshee at Disney's Animal Kingdom now. So, but there you are. There's your news. One more story. One more thing I want to mention. I'm not quite ready to announce this yet. I may try to have more information about this on Friday's show. If not, it will be on Monday. But I'm planning on setting up a Patreon. Basically a subscription to this channel. Now obviously it'll still be free, but if you want to, you can join the Patreon and help support this channel and what I do. I haven't set this up yet, so I still have to do set up stuff for this. So I'm going to try to work on that tomorrow and try to get that up for by Friday. But if not, I'm going to have to work on it over the weekend. But look for that Patreon subscription coming very soon. But there you are. There's your news for this Wednesday. Again, if you like this video, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to this channel for more content. I thank you guys very much for watching this video. I will see you right back here on Friday for Friday's news show. Until then, y'all keep each other safe and healthy. And as my friend John would say from the Carousel of Progress, remember that tomorrow is just a dream away.